Today I'm going to talk to you guys about the relationship between decimals and fractions. So if you have a question that is talking about writing a decimal in the form of a fraction, you want to approach it like this. So if I have a decimal such as 630 thousandths. If you say the decimal correctly, you can actually write down the fraction properly. So I said 630 thousandths. By saying thousandths, I know what my denominator is. Okay? And then, if I know that there is 630 of those, then I just write that on the top. So the numerator is 630, denominator is 1,000. So that's the same as writing 630 thousandths. You could also write this another way with a denominator of 100. So what is an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100 that would be equivalent to 630 thousandths? Well, just by removing the zeros on the end, you would get 63 hundredths. So if you had one whole divided up into 100 pieces and you used 63 of those, that's the same relationship as if you had a one whole divided into 1,000 pieces and you used 630 of those. What you're really doing when you cross out those zeros is you're dividing it by 10 on both numerator and denominator. Okay, so you can't just say you're crossing them out, you're actually dividing it by 10. All right, let's just do another one of those. Let's write a decimal, 490. So that's 490 thousandths. So I know my most common fraction associated with that would be in the thousandths. So my denominator is 1,000, and then I have 490 of those thousandths. I could also write that as a fraction with a denominator of 100. Divide both the numerator and denominator by 10, and you get 49 hundredths. Now, what would you do if you had a fraction first? Okay, let's just take a look at that. 730 over 1,000ths. So 730 thousandths. Well, you just write that down as a decimal. So it's not a whole yet, so there's 0 wholes, and then there would be 730 thousandths. So this denominator right here shows you that you have to have at least a digit up to the thousandths and no more than that. Okay? Now let's talk about a scenario. Let's say that you interviewed 1,000 people, and of those 1,000 people, 620 of them liked the color red. So they liked the color red. If I asked you to write a fraction with a denominator of 1,000 and 100, you could do this. Okay, well, I know 620 of them liked red, and there was a total of 1,000. So my denominator is 1,000 because that's what it's out of. And I know that 620 of them liked red. I could also write another fraction with a denominator of 100, and that would just be 62 of them. Now, how could you also write a decimal for those? Well, just say the fraction, 620 thousandths. Well, that would be 0.620 or 620 thousandths. And for this, you're going into the hundredths, so 0.62. So that all of these are equivalent, and these are equivalent as well. Let's do another example as one last one. Let's say you did another interview with another 1,000 people. 860 of them said that they like basketball. All right. Let's write a fraction and decimal in the thousandths. Here's my fraction. I know it's out of 1,000, and there's 860 of them. Write that as a decimal, 0.860 thousandths. So this says 860 thousandths, and so does that. How about as a decimal in the hundredths and fraction in the hundredths? So my denominator is 100, 86, and 86 hundredths. There you go. Hopefully that helps.